Hi, this is Laurel from the Seagull Nest. I'm here with Pamela from Breakthrough Hypnotherapy, and we're just having a chat tonight, and I wanted her to introduce herself. Hi, Pamela.
Hi, Laurel. Thank you so much. I'm just so honored to be here with you, and I love the work that you're doing, and that we need more of you in the world.
Oh, thank
I'm
you.
really honored to be here. Yeah. So my name's Pamela Topjian, and I am a certified hypnotherapist. And I have moved from the medical field. I was a licensed nurse and moved into a more holistic modality of hypnotherapy. So my background with anything to do with pregnancy and childbirth is long ago, before nursing and before the internet, so people couldn't find people as easily. I had apprenticed with some home birth midwives for a short time before I went into nursing, and just an amazing experience. And there were some doulas that they worked with and all of that. And so that was incredible. But it's hard to find people that work in, childbirth outside of their doctors and that in any capacity, whether it's a doula, the lactation, counseling and that. So that's great.
I can't imagine running a business these days without the internet.
I know. How did they do it? How did they do it? It was white pages, yellow pages. People got out the phone book when they were looking for something. A lot of it was, they would pay for radio ads, and and just the newspapers. You'd run an ad in your newspaper, and I know.
I found my very first nanny job. Let's see if that works. Sorry. In the newspaper in 2007.
And that's just about the time that things were picking up with with social media and that.
So it's very funny to me because that was about the time the newspaper stopped being as effective.
Right, yeah, because everybody was online.
Right. So, well, I'm glad that I met you, and thanks to the internet, we've been able to connect, and we've been able to do this, which is phenomenal.
Yeah, I know, so amazing. And I have had clients, in other areas of the world, even because of Zoom and because of the internet, and they can find you, and it's so amazing.
I just signed on with a client last night at 2 a.m. because from doing overnights, I can't sleep between 2 and 4 a.m. So just my body won't let me. And I was off last night. I signed on with a client in Singapore last night.
Yes. So, how cool is that?
Yeah.
So amazing. I love it.
So back to who you are. Can you explain a bit about what hypnotherapy is and what you do and how it has to do with my field?
Yeah, sure. So hypnotherapy is, like I said, it's a more holistic modality, and it's easier to say what it's not. So it's not mind control. It's not stage hypnosis. These are things that people think about when they think of hypnotherapy. If they've never heard of it before, they just automatically think it's like magic tricks, or it's, mind control and that kind of a thing. And it's not at all. So what we do is we help people to relax their physical body, and then we quiet the mind, and then we can address the subconscious mind to release any blocks, to help them with whatever issues they're having. And this can help in childbirth and in, all aspects, whether it's, people that are trying to conceive. A lot of times it's just a mental block that they have. Obviously, could very well be medical, but it also can be, they're scared of childbirth itself, or they're, scared of the responsibility of parenthood. Oh no, we lost Laurel.
I'm here. I'm having technical difficulties.
So, and then also healthy lifestyle. A lot of people have addictions, whether it's smoking, or something more serious, that they find themselves pregnant, or they're trying to conceive and they want to, they need help with these addictions or these unhealthy lifestyle habits. So that's where hypnotherapy can help with that. And definitely reducing stress, which we know is huge.
Right.
I do have one client that was, she worked in the medical field, and I have an offer that I give, people that work in the medical field, one free session, a month, just sort of to give back, because it's a very stressful job. So anyway, she was taking care, she was, she was coming to me for that once a month. It's been over a year she's been doing this. And then, she was trying to get pregnant and she was having a little bit of trouble. And so since I've seen her for a while, usually it's just stress reduction for these free ones. And I said, is there anything you want to work on, and something specific I can just add in there? And she said, yeah, we're trying to conceive, we're trying to have a baby, and everything's fine physically. So I don't know, it's just maybe my stressful job or whatever. And so I added in there, something about, healthy baby, healthy pregnancy, healthy mom in with the session. And the next time I talked to her, she said, guess what?
That's amazing.
I'm pregnant. I know. And I'm not saying that it was the hypnotherapy, but it certainly didn't hurt.
Right. It's so interesting. I think I've told you my story, but I don't recall. But my ex-wife and I tried to conceive for 2 years and had 5 losses. And then my current wife and I tried for 15 months and that was a hot mess, but then had 2 losses. And I think if Heather, my current wife, my only wife now, were more relaxed, I don't think that would have hurt anything. She definitely had some medical stuff too. So I know that definitely played a huge part.
Right.
But it's so stressful trying to conceive.
And after having losses, then you're even that much more stressed about becoming pregnant, or even, holding, carrying the baby for 9 months, or until term, until it's ready. So, that plays a huge part. Just that fear alone plays a huge part. And that's where I think is the most beneficial with hypnotherapy. That, and like I said, like quitting smoking or drinking, or just being able to eat better, and be able to sleep, because hypnotherapy is great to help people with insomnia too. So we were going to talk a little bit about hypno birthing. Yeah. And it is a specific technique. And I am not trained in hypno birthing. However, hypnotherapy can help in all these other ways, and it can certainly help with labor as well. But legally, I would be able to help somebody, but I wouldn't call it hypno birthing. It would just be like hypnotherapy, to help with, labor, to help with, but I probably wouldn't, because I know that there's people that are better qualified, and I don't have a problem at all, referring out to people that I know that would do would be a better fit for them. So, yeah.
So is there a difference between official hypnobirthing and hypnotherapy with a focus on birth?
There's all kinds of extra trainings, all kinds of extra side things that you can go into, but just being a certified hypnotherapist, I am able to do these things and add them in. But whether I have those extra certificates are kind of so that you have more training in it, in whatever it is. And so if you, as the hypnotherapist, want to focus on one specific thing, then you're going to get all the extra certificates you can in that specific thing, just so you can, assist and support your clients better, right? Of course. So, but I don't do that. I don't do hypnobirthing, but I would be able to, but I wouldn't.
Okay.
I mean, unless it was a friend or somebody that was already a client and they said, I really want you to be there though. I really want it to be you. Then, then I would,
Is there a specific niche that you like within the hypnotherapy world? It doesn't have to be related to birth, but is there anything specific that you like the best and you're really good at?
Well, inner child work is where I've gotten
That's
some extra
huge.
training in. And that's why, because first of all, personally, I did have a big, a total breakdown in my life. And I found out later that it had to do more with my childhood and things that have come up, not even necessarily traumas, but, things that have come up, have affected my whole adult life from childhood that I didn't even realize until I was much older and had therapy and had this breakdown. So I just want, I found that out way too late, how, your childhood can affect your adult life. And so many things, just so many things are rooted in childhood. And again, like I said, it doesn't even have to be trauma, Say you have a mother who was always talking about how, how much pain she was in childbirth, or how much she went through to have you and stuff.
Yeah.
What do you think that's going to cause, deep in your, in your gut? You don't even realize that it's in there, but you've heard this your whole life, how
Right.
painful childbirth is. So, that could really affect somebody when they're trying to conceive, or, or even in pregnancy. Just, some people, I thoroughly believe that when people go very late, a lot of times they're pretty much kind of holding back. They could be holding back mentally, as keeping their physical body from releasing that baby, or
Interesting.
even a long drawn out labor that goes for days, that could also be, she's just really scared of delivering, or is really scared of parenthood,
Well, labor and delivery are incredibly dangerous and can be incredibly traumatic. But it's really great to have the tools to be able to relax and be present, or not, whichever works best for the person.
Right.
And to get through it.
I think that with hypnobirthing, there's different techniques within hypnobirthing. So there's not just one way to do it. I do think that there's a way that people will go into a hypnosis to where they almost, like you said, not be present. Let's take you on a vacation. Where do you want to go? So we take you there in almost like a guided meditation thing, but we're addressing the subconscious mind, so it's even deeper than a guided meditation, and it's more focused for your subconscious mind than it would be like just a guided meditation or just your own meditation. It's more focused. So when we address the subconscious and your inner self, then that part of you is paying attention. So it doesn't matter what your mind is doing. It's like between the state of just before you wake up when you're dreaming, or just before you fall asleep. It's that kind of a state, or if you're doing something that you really love, like if you're painting, or if you're reading a book, or you're watching a movie, or, or anything like that, or even like walking, running, riding a bike, something that you really love and you're really engrossed in, you're hyper focused on that one thing, and the time can pass like nothing, right? Mm-hmm. So that's the feeling of hypnotherapy.
Wow.
Yeah. It's pretty amazing.
And do you ever work specifically with women, or just parents in general, they don't have to be women, that birthers that are pregnant and or postpartum, and what do you do specifically for them that you would do differently from someone who is not either carrying a child or postpartum?
Well, I'd be very careful with the wording as far as releasing, letting go, things like that, because you don't want to, I don't think you could cause a miscarriage or anything, but I would still be very careful with my wording, telling the body to let go of whatever's holding them back and stuff like that. Is kind of a thing that I do a lot, is like releasing blocks and obstacles within somebody is a big part of what I do. So I would just be more careful with my wording, and I would find out, a lot of times I tell people, you don't have to tell me what's going on if you're not comfortable with it. That's one of the big differences between like more traditional therapies, because they're working within themselves. But I would want to know more what's going on with that pregnant woman, just so that I can gauge my wording better. I'd want to know what her biggest issues were, whether it's medical or something else. I'd want to know what's going on with her. Is she having trouble sleeping? How is she eating? Is she hydrated enough? Is she, drinking or smoking? If she's on any medications. I'd want to know more about what's going on with her than I would another client.
And what about someone who is postpartum?
Well, again, I'd want to know, are you having trouble sleeping? What's your biggest issue? Are you having trouble nursing if you are nursing? Are you working? How stressed are you? I would just want to know more with these clients than I need to with other clients.
And why do you need to know more with these people versus someone else?
Because I think we can focus our sessions better on their needs, more specific than sort of stress relief. Usually I work with people that are, either feeling like they're broke down in life, they're stuck in life, they're just on the verge of a breakdown, or they feel lost, they don't know what to do anymore, they're just, existing. Those are the kind of people I mostly work with, and so I would want to be a little more focused on exactly their needs.
That's a really good explanation. I just have a random question. It has nothing to do with birthing, but how would you, so if somebody thinks hypnotherapy is just full of woo, how do you break that? Because I know a lot of people think it's BS, to be frank.
Yeah, of course they do. Yeah, I know. That's an issue for me, right? Getting past that barrier for them. Right. So I have articles that I write articles on my website, and I have explanations about hypnotherapy. I would send them there. I would also let them know that the American Medical Association and the British Medical Association and the American Psychological Association all recognize hypnotherapy as a legitimate therapy. I do need to say that we're not, doctors. We don't treat, we don't diagnose, we don't, prescribe anything. So we always say that, as a disclaimer, but, like I said, I would let them know that it is more science-based. Studies have been being done for a long, long time. But in my consultations, I always give a sample session just so they can see how it feels for themselves. And it's just like 10 or 15 minutes of stress reduction,
This is something I really want to do now. So
yeah.
A lot of what you've said has resonated with me, and I'm like, oh, I need to schedule a session with her.
Yeah. Yeah, and I do it for people that are out of the country. I do it through Zoom. And usually when I do it through Zoom, people don't have their cameras on because they just want to be, they usually are laying in their beds, and they're just as comfy as they can be. Sometimes they have their pets with them, it's just awesome. But then other people, mostly that are not out of the country, I just do it by the phone even. Yeah. If they really want to do Zoom, I'll do Zoom. But if I have a client that is, that says they really want to have a Zoom session rather than on the phone, I'm totally fine with that. But then when we have another session, then they want to go to the phone because they see it's not really necessary, because they want to close their eyes and just get, and just let go without even being concerned with what's in their background or what they look like,
Right.
So
yeah. That's fair. Yeah, I definitely want to talk to you more about this privately. So
awesome.
Yeah. I'm trying, let me look at my list to see if there's anything I'm forgetting. Can you explain the difference between hypnotherapy and talk therapy in general?
Yeah, so with talk therapy, this is one of the things with a lot of my clients have been through more traditional therapies. and they're just tired of telling their story over and over and not really getting anywhere with it. They feel like I'm talking, I'm running around in circles, I'm not getting anywhere. And I'm not, and I'm certainly not knocking talk therapy or any other kind of a therapy. It just, not everything works for everybody,
Right.
and it has to be a good fit also.
Of course.
So with hypnotherapy, it's within the person. So like I said before, you don't have to tell me anything, you can just tell me kind of what you want, what you want out of your session, or what you want, what's going on, not what's going on in your life, but what do you want to see in your life? What don't you have in your life? Let's look forward. We're not looking back. We don't need to look back. If something comes up while you're in hypnosis, if something comes up from the past, then we'll work on that. Then we'll do some childhood stuff, or whatever it is. If it's not childhood, if it's just, some trauma that that wasn't in childhood, but whatever. But we'll get to that if it comes up,
But really interesting.
Yeah. So we don't do a lot of talking. I do the talking,
right,
and they just lay back and listen. Some people fall asleep.
Yeah. I know when I've spoken to you privately, you've explained a lot of, and you did briefly here, but can you explain what ailments, situations, or circumstances hypnotherapy would be most beneficial or least beneficial?
Well, some of the big ones that a lot of people have a lot of success with hypnotherapy, some of the big ones are quitting smoking, losing weight. Those are some of the big sort of the things that most people will go to hypnotherapists for. Insomnia, losing weight, quitting smoking. And then after that, it's just like healthy lifestyle, like and that's related to all that other stuff too. But for me, again, like I said, I really love the clients that, they just feel so stuck. They just feel like they're not living their own life. They're not living up to their potential. They're not even living, let alone really, they're just existing. And these people have true life transformations. And to me, that's just so rewarding, it empowers them. It's not something that, I'm doing for them. I'm not giving them advice unless it's like, lessen your caffeine and stuff like that. But I'm not giving them advice. I don't have a list of things for them to do or whatever. We're working within them. And then things come up in their own subconscious mind from themselves. So it's all from them. So it's not me. I'm just like the facilitator. I'm the guide, guiding you to your own inner self. So I love that people are empowered knowing that they, can get past whatever comes up next,
It's quite different, but that's why I
Mhm.
really love sleep training and teaching parents how to sleep train, because
It's
they
life
feel,
changing.
yes, and they feel really empowered by helping their child to have these tools and be more independent.
Right.
And by teaching them, the parents are also gaining this confidence.
Yes.
And like part of my job as a sleep consultant is to do a lot of parent support and a lot of parent coaching, and watching these parents go from I don't think I can do this to I did it is it's amazing.
Right.
And I'm like, you did it, you and your child did it.
Exactly. Yeah, so that's the same feeling that I get, that I get from my clients, that look, you did it, you could do it. You came to me thinking that you were powerless and you were hopeless, and here you did it, And, that reminds me of, another way that hypnotherapy with women who who have had cesarean sections, and they want to try for a vaginal birth after cesarean, a lot of them have real fear is that their body doesn't work. They feel like they can't do it, or they're somehow broken, or somehow not good enough, or not, not fully woman or whatever enough to give birth. And, and so hypnotherapy could really help with confidence, and feeling that inner strength within them.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Do you do anything about inducing labor?
I have not done anything about inducing labor.
Like
I know what you're thinking. I would be very careful with my wording. Because we don't want a baby to come into the world that's not ready.
Of course, yeah.
So, so I would be careful with my wording as far as, everything being healthy, everything working out as it's supposed to, just making sure there's no blocks keeping the baby from birthing,
It seems like you do a lot of intentional speech. And like you have to think a lot about how you present whatever you're going to say to your client.
Yeah, and that's one thing I like too about the sample session that I do with my consultations, is because then I can kind of get feedback on how visual they are. If they took a long time to even relax, I know I'm going to have to do a longer just sort of induction, just relaxing everything before we get to whatever else. But if somebody that went out pretty quickly, or just kind of just were relaxed right away, or even if they fell asleep during it, which happens frequently, then I know that they don't need a whole lot of time just relaxing, and if somebody that saw a bunch of stuff was very visual in their imagination and their mind's eye, and they just saw a lot, then I know I could use those metaphors of, visualizations. So it helps me too, to know where they're at and how I can better help them, So yeah, it's very intentional with what, and each session, after that session, then I know what I'm doing with the next one,
Okay, that makes sense.
by how receptive they were, or what happened with that one,
Yeah. So I think I'm going to finish up, but I'm going to ask like one more question. It's very basic, I guess, or like broad. But for instance, like the clients that I work with often are new parents, postpartum, or they have an older baby who's struggling with sleep. There are two different kinds of parents I work with. And so would you be able to give just like a brief explanation as to how you may help each type of these parents in how it could be beneficial for them? Because like oftentimes even if it's not postpartum anxiety, they're stressed. They want to make sure they're doing it right. They want to make sure that they're not going to scar their child. And I've had a lot of parents that are so nervous that they're going to break their baby. And I'm like, you're going to be okay.
Right. Yeah, look how old motherhood is, right?
Right.
Literally since people have been around. So, so I would work with clients with, confidence. We would instill confidence in their own inner knowing and their own intuition. I would also help with just parents, new parents, especially, they don't, even if they're sleeping, they're still sleeping kind of with one eye open. They're not getting fully good restful sleep. And then that just builds on each other to add to the stress and the anxiety. So I would work on sleeping soundly. I would work on just stress reduction. I would show them how to, once I get somebody to a place, so many people will say, I have never felt so relaxed in all my life.
Wow.
And so I will, once they know that feeling, then I will show them how, you can get that feeling on your own. Now you know that you can get there and you know how that feels. Let's, help you get there on your own, And I would want to have, if it was about sleep, I would want to have later night sessions. So their day was done, so they don't have to get right back into their conscious mind and start going about their day or whatever, So yeah, so it would be mostly about stress reduction, adding confidence to these women, to these people.
Yeah, that sounds like something some of these parents need, obviously not all, but
Right.
becoming a new parent, I mean, I'm going to do it in a few weeks.
Yeah. Congratulations.
Thank you so much. It's
I'm so excited. I love
very
new
excited.
babies. Yes.
I mean, I'll probably be coming to you for stress reduction in a few weeks.
Absolutely.
But watching these parents just become, they go from, like, it's a transformation. It really is.
Mhm.
And
Oh yeah.
if you're a first-time parent, you don't know what you're in for. If you're a second-time parent, you don't know what you're in for. Like, so it's, and then so on. But like trying to figure out who you are when you
Mhm.
have a baby is huge. And I've seen some people struggle with
Oh
that.
yeah.
And then the fourth trimester is really challenging. So adding that onto your mental health of trying to figure out who I am now, it seems like a
Right.
lot. So
Right. And and I have some people that say, I have so many things, they've got all these things they want to work on. They're like, what should we do first? And it's like, let's do a couple of general sessions and you will know what is priority after a couple sessions. You will know, it'll come up to you. So,
that's
and a
good.
lot of times there's like a domino effect of things. So like, all these things, really the core is this one thing, so we'll get to that core rather than, okay, let's do this and then this and then this, because it's
Yeah,
all
that makes
related
sense.
and people a lot of
Yeah.
times don't realize. Yeah.
Wow. Well, this has been really incredible. And I'm super excited to share this with the world because I think people are really going to benefit from learning who you are, what you do, why it's important.
Thank you.
And I'm really glad that you had the opportunity to come hang out with me for a little while. And you were
I'm
willing
honored. Thank you. Yes.
and it's been really lovely. So thank you so much. And
Thank you.
I'm going to pursue something privately and then I'll talk back to the
Awesome.
rest of the world. All right. Thank you, Pamela.
Thank you so much. Have a good night.
You too.
Bye-bye.
Bye.